Hi, brother teacher here. I said not too many weeks ago that I was going to start explaining some of the benefits of the herbs that I use and many other people who practice natural remedies and natural medicine, if you will, utilizing natural foods and so forth. I said that I was going to start breaking down some of the benefits of these herbs and these foods that we have so readily available to us in our world in which we live, but for some reason, uh, there are elements in our society that don't want us to be healthy because there's no money in eating healthy and taking herbal supplements and eating organically grown foods, un denatured types of foods. But anyway, the item that I would like to speak on briefly, if I may, is chlorella. Chlorella, it has a cousin in the herbal world. It's many other herbs, but chlorella is a blue-green algae that grows in warm water and sometimes salt water. Uh, this is not doing it justice, but it's an army type green in color. If you can ascertain that color through first observation, there's some better pictures online if you want to look it up. Chlorella, Chlorella, chlorella. As I said, it's a algae and a blue green algae. And chlorella is not simply a supplement. Chlorella is food. Chlorella, along with its cousin, and I say cousin, this is chlorella, this is spirulina. They're very closely related. They have been around since the beginning of this earth. As a matter of fact, chlorella and spirulina uh, are two of the superfoods in the dark green superfoods, if you will, that contain as much or if not more to a greater degree chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is an ingredient found in dark green plants and vegetables that help once in the human body to alkalize it. It's much needed, much necessary because we live in a toxic world. I cannot overstate this. We have toxins in the food supply, in the water supply, in the air supply, and in the things that we use to clean our homes with, and just daily chores that we are engaged in when we utilize any type of spray, cream, or a liquid. It's generally a chemical toxin, and it's toxic to us. And when you use the term toxic, it means just what it says. It's poisonous and oftentimes very carcinogenic, cancer causing. So, getting back to chlorella, it is a food. Why is it a food, you might ask? It's because it contains many minerals and vitamins, okay, and even amino acids. As a matter of fact, chlorella has the required amount of amino acids for human needs. In other words, all of the amino acids that human beings need to survive as it relates to amino acids, it's in chlorella. It is. You don't have to eat several different types of green plants to get all of the amino acids. They're all just in chlorella alone. Now, that's not to dissuade you or to discourage you from eating other dark green plants, because you should, because they all have other benefits. Now, on chlorella, chlorella promotes energy. You ever felt down, tired, sluggish, even lazy? You know, chlorella can help be that pick me up. I'm saying this stuff in the beginning, leading to something else in a moment. Okay? It also helps to support our liver, and it helps to detox by removing heavy metals from the liver. In other words, chlorella, along with spirulina, I'm going to tag team this, along with spirulina, They help to bind heavy metals that are in our bodies. They bind the heavy metals to themselves, and then when we go to the bathroom, we excrete, or we defecate, or we urinate those waste products out. Heavy metals. Believe it or not, we consume heavy metals. We inhale heavy metals from the sky, from the chemtrails, and so forth. So these are two superfoods that help to pull that out of our bodies. And we need to keep these on board in our diet on a regular basis. Okay, 60% protein is in chlorella. Spirulina has a significant amount of protein in it as well, which means, guess what? It's plant protein. It's easily assimilated in the human body, and it's easier on your system to include your kidneys than animal protein. Again, originally, men did not eat meat. When men through evolution started to develop and grow up, and as ages passed and thousands of years passed, men developed the liking of meat. They began to consume meat. But just because you begin to consume something and it doesn't kill you instantly does not mean that ultimately it won't cause some other issues down the road, because your body was not designed for that. Now let me give you a quick example. Dr. Sebi, God rest his soul, when he was living, he gave a perfect example. And we can go on and on and on with these types of examples. He said a gorilla cannot eat a polar bear's diet. What does a polar bear eat? It eats seals, fish, live animals, right? Would you feed that to a gorilla? No, you wouldn't. If you fed a gorilla a polar bear's diet, the gorilla would die, because he's not receiving that thing which is natural in his own environment. The same thing is true conversely. Give a polar bear a gorilla's diet. What does a gorilla eat? Berries, leaves, plants, bananas, plants, plant life. And look at how powerful a gorilla is. That's his nature. But if you feed his diet to a polar bear, the polar bear would die. Human beings have a diet as well, ladies and gentlemen. And just because we like meat does not mean that meat likes us. It tastes good, and evolutionary discoveries throughout the years, several thousands of years, all of the spices and the potions and the creams and things like that, and different ways to prepare meat makes it all that more delectable. That's true. I'm a witness. I grew up eating meat, and I eat a very, very minuscule amount of meat today. 1 meal a day. I've already said that before. But anyway, chlorella has all of the amino acids that the body needs. I've said that. I just didn't want to miss out on anything. It's a good source of iron. We all need iron, right, in our blood. It's a good source of lutein for eye health. And there's a plethora of other things that chlorella does for the human body. It is, again, a superfood. So don't look at it as just simply a pill. It's not a pill. You can take it in pill form. You can take it in a capsule form. But I like to take it in a smoothie, in the powdered form. You can take it in that form, and you can add some other herbs to it, and a natural juice, or even just some purified or some clean water. It's really that simple. It's not complicated. I like to put a half a banana in my smoothie, along with some blueberries and the chlorella, spirulina, turmeric, and so on and so forth. But that's how I take it on a regular basis. So I just want to touch on spirulina before I leave. It helps also to remove heavy metals. I pointed that out. It helps to protect the body from radiation poisoning. Where do we get radiation poisoning? Don't rush to raise your hand while you're out there watching me on this video. Where does radiation poisoning come from? God help us all. Radiation poisoning comes from our televisions. Yes, true story. Radiation poisoning comes from our cell phones up against your head, in a pocket right here, in your back pocket, your front pocket, sleeping with it on your chest and it's turned on. Radiation poisoning comes from your microwave. Radiation poisoning comes from women taking mammograms, True story. Radiation comes from what? Radiation therapy for those people who have been diagnosed with cancer. Radiation comes from those things. It comes from also cell towers, and it comes from, wait for it, 5G. Yes, it does. Now, in order for us to detox our body of radiation, we need to try to minimize our exposure to radiation. Televisions turned on, the cell phone close to your body. Even though it's a necessary evil, we need cell phones for communication. If you don't have landlines in your home and so forth, if you do have a landline in your home, by the way, it would probably be wiser, I should say, to use the landline over the cell phone, even though the cell phone might be more convenient. So minimize the amount of time that you use the cell phone. Text people away from you so you don't have to have the phone on up by your head. And when your phone is getting really warm, guess what? It is emitting radiation. Okay. So to eradicate or to minimize the amount of radiation from our body, spirulina is good for that. Chlorella is good for that. There's some other things that's good for that. Activated charcoal, I've mentioned that before. Bentonite clay is another one. So I hope that this video has been beneficial to you. It is my job to get you to think, and after you have thoroughly considered the things that I have told you and the information that I'm giving to you, it is to get you to act. I can't make you do anything, but I do these videos out of love and compassion for my fellow man. I haven't asked for any money. There's thousands of people out there that do. Now, if you want to donate something to me, you may. People have done that. But I don't wear a banner saying, please give me your money, and so on and so forth. You know, I'm not the wealthiest person in the world. But I am a human being who loves humanity. I have children. I have grandchildren, great-grandchildren. And I would like to see them live in a world where they have the least amount of stress as possible. And those things that we have control over or that we can control, we just absolutely should, especially when those things involve us and our health. So there are things that we can't stop, such as the radiation in the air and so forth, but the things that you can stop, you must stop. Change your paradigm, change your life for the better, and that of your families as well. This is Brother Teacher, and you know what I'm going to say in closing. The Almighty loves you, and I love you dearly. Take care.